Last night I was playing in the pub, and it became painful obvious that Karrthus just doesn't work. Well, why is that? The problem is that the basic idea of having a deck full of elves, tribal elves, with effects that every time you cast an elf, cast a creature, you draw a card, with the idea of running out my deck to do one big smash. That sound, the problem is I have a decoy commander that has nothing to do with the deck, and either I wait forever to start the draw engine going, or I run out Karrthus just to have something to do, but then I've got this 7/7 commander that is a 3-hit kill, so it becomes a threat. If I have too many mana elves out early, even if I can't do anything with them, I start looking like a threat because my opponents don't know what's in my hand, and they don't know what I'm going to do with all this mana. So I have to hold back, not really cast anything until I can get the draw engine started, and I just sit there dead in the water. For example, in both games I got mana flooded. I've got 35 lands in the deck, and in the first game I drew and saw no draw engines, no parts of it, and there are 5 pieces in there. I've got 2 ways of tutoring for some of the pieces. I didn't see any of those. And in the second game, even when I got milled for 14, the mill took out the Vanquisher's banner, put it in the graveyard. But it was still several turns of gameplay, and I got no draw pieces. I got nothing, even after getting milled for 14, even after drawing my initial 8, because it's commander, even after all the draws through the game. So it was incredibly frustrating. It really irritated me. So Karrthus just doesn't work. I have to do something with it. I've got 3 different things I can do. One, I can abandon the deck completely. I can destroy it completely, take it apart, and get rid of some of the pieces. Or I could redirect it, so I keep the elves, I keep the tribal aspect and put them under another commander. Or, and again this is not mutually exclusive to the previous idea, I could go with Jund. I could take the mana base out of Karrthus, take most of the elves out, get rid of the tribal focus, and go with something more Jund related. I don't know what the direction would be, but that's something I can do. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a different Jund deck with Karrthus as the commander, figure out some theme, some cohesive way to build the deck, and then I'm going to take all the elves and put them under Chulane, Teller of Tales. So Chulane, it's banned. So I would be switching the deck from black, green, red to blue, green, white. Meaning I can keep all the elves, I can keep that tribal aspect. I would lose all the black. I would lose all the red. I'd lose Death Denied. I would lose Dictate of Erebos. Not sure if I would keep Winter Orb under Chulane or not. I'm not even sure if Chulane is the right commander. Now, his ability is whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card, which is exactly what I wanted to do with this deck. Exactly. I just wanted to build it Jund colors. And it failed. It's not reliable. It puts me in a bad position during the game. So, Chulane, every time you cast a creature, you draw a card. And then if you have a land in your hand, you can play it. So I can burn through my deck pretty damn quickly with Chulane. I can get all these elves into play. I'd lose Sarkenvol because it's red. Lose Deathrite Shaman. Lose Prowess of the Fair. Lose Winds of Change. Especially if I have lose Wheel of Fortune. I lose Tyvar Kell because he has black in his text box, and it's not reminder text. I lose Maelstrom Pulse, Lavalanche. So the deck would be quite different under Chulane. The thing that would be the same, where the hell is it? I want to show it to you and now I can't find it. There it is. Alluring. So the deck would play the same. It'd be more reliable under Chulane because if I get Alluring out, every time I cast a creature for free, I draw a card. And I would still have some of the draw effects. I would still have Beast Whisper, for example. Probably still have Leafcrown Visionary, Gifted Nature. So if I'm drawing 2 cards a turn, and also he gets me past that. The problem with Karrthus, one of the problems I had is, so even if it worked, even if I got going, and I'm casting 2 creatures, I'm drawing 2 cards every time I cast a creature, I'm still hitting land pockets that I can't do anything with. I'm filling my hand with land. Chulane says, hey, go ahead and put them into play. So that's what I'm thinking, and I'd like to get some comments. I'd like to get some discussion on Chulane because I was looking at Reddit, and so people were complaining about him. And I didn't really understand why, because I didn't care, I didn't look him up. But then I read him last night, and I'm thinking about what I can do with him, with Alluring, with the Elves, with Coat of Arms, with Aurelius Memorial. Yeah, he can be a real dirty commander. The other thing about Chulane is that I'm essentially copying Edric. Edric, of course, plays small creatures with evasion, gets them through, and I draw cards for hitting my opponents. Chulane, I just draw cards on casting the creatures, and then I can hit my opponents. So in a way, it's going to play similar to Edric, and I have to change it so it doesn't feel like Edric with a little bit of white. But that's what I'm thinking now. So, what do you do when you have a deck that, well, let's keep that. Let's just take out the, well, let's just separate into piles. What do you do when you have a deck that doesn't work? Do you keep forcing it? Do you keep plugging away at it, trying to get it to work? Or when do you recognize that you've hit a point where to get the deck in the place it needs to be in order to work, you just have to go against everything you want to do? For example, Karrthus is black. I could shove in a Demonic Tutor. I can shove in a couple more tutors, Worldly Tutor, Sylvan Tutor, in order to make it more effective, in order to make it more reliable, but that's not really what I want to do. I don't like having too many tutors in my commander decks, because then I lose the thrill of playing with what I'm given, working with what the deck offers. Of course, Karrthus last night, what the deck offered was not enough, and I was in the situation in game 1 where I'm holding a grip of elves. I had like 7 elves because I had Reliquary Tower in play. I had her, Priest of Titanium, in my hand. Didn't want to cast her because if I cast her, my opponent's like, wow, you're going to generate a lot of mana. What are you going to do? We don't know what you're going to do. We're going to kill you before you can do it. Not knowing that I can't do a damn thing with what I had. So that's where I am with Karrthus. He's being broken up, as you see on camera. I'll keep the green and the elf pieces separate. I'll figure out another tribe. So Chulane is blue, green, white. Meaning what I could do is I can have some kind of mixed army. I could do, say, fairies and elves for blue. I could do white. I could do knights and elves, but that doesn't sound very interesting with Chulane. So that's where I am. I'm trying to figure out the new direction. Basically split Karrthus into 2 different decks. As you can see, I've got a hell of a mana base for for Karrthus, depending on what I do. What do you think I should do with Karrthus? Let me know in the comments what you think his direction should be. Should I build a Voltron commander in Jund? Should I try that? I don't know if it'll work. I'll have green for enchantments. I can do equipment. I'm going to sell him. I'm going to sell him because I saw he's 15 euros. That's twice what I paid. I don't really need him in the deck. He was kind of cool to get the guy's cradle, but Chulane, if I'm drawing cards and I can play a land every time I cast a creature, well, I'm going to hit the cradle sooner or later. If I have a learn out sooner, and I can just play it. So I don't need him. And I've got a fear that he's going to be reprinted in MH3. So if he's in Modern Horizons 3, his price is going to tank. So I might as well sell him while the selling is good. Keep Color the Claw. I also thought of doing mono green with Fairy Lace, making Fairy Lace my commander. That would be the first Planeswalker commander I have, the first Planeswalker commander I've ever built. And I just decided doing mono green with my current playgroup is not a good idea, unless it's mono green like Omnath, Locus of Mana. That is fast and brutal and works. Free Elise, okay, she comes out on turn 5, maybe turn 3 with if I get the right mana elves, which last night proved that that's not completely reliable. So let's say she comes out on turn 3. I create a Landomore Elf, and she's a 5 loyalty. Turn 3, people already have creatures to attack with, and if I've tapped my mana elves in order to cast her quicker, she's just there out in the open to be attacked. So they'll start beating on her. So the neg 6 is going to be harder to get to. That I don't have the protection of blue, I don't have the recovery of black, I don't have the destruction of red, I don't have the protection of white. So doing Free Lace as a mono green commander just seems like a bad idea in my current play environment. Now in some environments she would be an all-star and you can get away with her and she would be fantastic. Some of you listening, you might be in such a play environment. I'm not at all. Eldrazi, Tyranids, Slivers, Amanatu Blink, blue-green Merfolk, that's the kind of shit I have to deal with. So I've got to build my decks fairly strong, but yet restrain myself. I have to restrain myself in order not to just go over the top and smash into my opponent's too hard. Brago's a great example. I had asshole stacks Brago, and I had to take it apart because it was too effective. Looking at the list now, I don't really understand why it was too effective at the time. That was only about a year ago. Because looking at the old list, it just seems like a pile of good stuff. But it's really good stuff that I can play with Brago. Excuse me. So I tried to go tribal clones, and the problem is half of the good clones only copy your creatures. So if I don't have any good creatures because I'm restraining myself, and if my opponents aren't casting anything relevant because they're all playing semi-tribal decks, that their creatures only work well with their decks, with their creature base. If I copy them, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help. It just, okay, great, I've got this Tyrannid. That doesn't do a damn thing because he kind of needs other Tyrannids to work with. I mean, that just kind of sucks. So that's why Brago is a dead idea. Recently the genie has been talking to me, giving me suggestions for cards I could put into Brago, and I reminded him that Brago is dead and why. And then I offered the idea of, what if we, all of us, decided to build a no-holds-barred, brutal as we can build it deck, and we only play it in agreement with the other players. What if we did something like that? He's thinking about it. I have to present the idea to the Cube, see what Cube thinks. But maybe we'll do that. Maybe all of us will build the most brutal deck we can, and just wail on each other. Just go to town. That's one idea. Then I would rebuild Brago. Shroom is already built. Shroom I could re-engineer to be a brutal, nasty deck quite easily. All I have to do is put in the Disciple of the Vault back in. Disciple of the Vault came out for Esper Sentinel. Yes, I finally remembered his name, Esper Sentinel. So Disciple of the Vault came out for Esper Sentinel because I decided I didn't want to do the dirty Shroom Sculpting Steel combo. But if we're going no holds barred, I could do the Shroom Sculpting Steel no holds barred combo pretty easily. All I need is a Demonic Tutor and go find a Disciple of the Vault, and then go to town, smash people. But I'd probably build Brago if we do this no holds barred idea. Anyway, that's my ramble for today. That's why I'm breaking up Karrthus. Brago was completely deconstructed. Some of the pieces were sold or up for sale. For example, I have the foil Flooded Strand, the Zendikar, the new one, up for sale. Some of the cards were traded. Other cards were put into my art binder. It was completely deconstructed. Karrthus I'm not even going to de-sleeve because I'm going to start thinking about how to make a Jund deck, how to make Chulane, which, as I said, I'm not incredibly enthusiastic about because of his apparent reputation and the fact that I already have a Bant deck, but I don't have a Jund deck. So I should work on that first, decide what I should do with Karrthus. If Karrthus should even be the commander, if I shouldn't put somebody else. A lot of things to think about. And let me know what you think down. Give me some ideas. Give me some suggestions. Help a brother out.